I'm not gonna give you guys some cool professional editing for this one. You guys are just gonna have to go with this video live commentary immediately and put plushies in my arms. I am going to be doing power rankings. It's about time. So, I want to do mine first, and I guess we can. Alright, give me a second. Alright, so because I'm extremely smart, I'm gonna be doing it this way so you don't see who my week 1 opponent is. Even though the matchups are... Is Grace not over yet? It's 3 p.m. for me, for almost 4 p.m. When is Grace period over? Whatever, here's my draft. I'm just gonna say, my draft is not as good as the other players. My draft is not great. It's more fun. I drafted mods that either I haven't got to use yet, like Great Tusk and... Well, pretty much just Great Tusk, or mod that I thought would be fun, like Darkrai, or Lycanroc Dusk. The only mods here that I've used before, and I'm picking mostly as comfort picks, are Mega Scizor and Tapu Fini. And Mega Scizor in particular is because I love its matchup with much of the restricted mods. Sorry, too much VGC terminology. Legendaries. Ubers. Fluttermane I think is very good. Scizor, I think Scizor is very good into the Ubers and on a lot of people's teams. Great Tusk, not really familiar with it too much. I'm seeing Genway use it in the Blitz Battlers League, and they're doing very good with it. Second kill leader behind my Tornadus Darian. Tapu Fini, I mean, I really like Tapu Fini. Really good at using it normally, but not sure about here. Probably fine though. Darkrai, very excited to try Darkrai. I think Darkrai could be really fun. Also, I noticed my thing says penis down there. Let's ignore that. Rotom Heat. This is very early to pick up a Rotom Heat, I think. I think round 6 is pretty early. But I just really wanted to try Rotom Heat in National Deck specifically, because I'm not going to use it in Gen 9. It's not that good in Gen 9. But in National Decks, it's still as toxic, and that actually matters a lot. So I'll gladly take the Rotom Heat. I definitely really want to try this Pokemon. I just realized this is my first Rotom form. I haven't used a Rotom form yet, which is crazy. I haven't used Rotom Wash, I haven't used Rotom Mow, or anything. Lycanroc Dust, I think Lycanroc Dust is a very fun Pokemon. Roserade. This was initially a Hisuian Quillfish, but then I realized Roserade is available, and that actually is much better. First off, little bit of speed here, but also it's a much better grounded poison for my team. Hisuian Quillfish overlaps with Darkrai. I don't care. It also has another Earthquake weakness. I don't care if they share no weaknesses. It's a much better grounded poison for me. With spikes. I'm aiming for spikes, if you can't tell. My first 7 don't have those. My next Pokemon also has spikes, Skarmory. Skarmory is not good. Let me tell you, it is not that good in draft, I would say. Or on my team. But I need an Earthquake resistance, and Sinistcha was sniped. There was nothing else good, so screw it, we'll take Skarmory. And at least the next 2 picks are kind of fun. Galarian Mr. Mime. Crazy, I know, but this thing actually has a lot more to my team than I realized, so we're keeping it on. I won't say what it has, but we're keeping it. Finally, the Goated Terra Captain Dewpider. Good friend Dewpider, welcome. Alright, so for my draft, we're gonna be a little bit mean to my draft. I'm trying to not be biased, but I think inherently there's going to be bias towards my draft. We're gonna put mine down here. We're gonna put my draft at 4 out of 10 for now. A little bit mean. But next up we have Legends draft over there. Lucario, Tornadus Darian, Palkia Origin, Glowking, Tinkaton, Zygarde 10%, Amoonguss, Sinistcha, there's the Sinistcha, Iron Jugulus, and Arctozolt. I assume they're not terastallizing anything else because they have quite a few Terra points remaining. Which is interesting. I would drop Arctozolt and Terra Iron Jugulus personally, but whatever. So, Legends draft. They have Mega Lucario, broken Pokemon, Terra Tornadus Darian, broken Terra Captain, Palkia Origin, overrated, and then they have Glowking, which is fun. Not fun. Glowking is boring, but whatever. So, I really like their first 2 picks, and I don't think their next 2 are bad at all. It's kind of the remainder of the draft that throws me off, particularly Amoonguss. Why is that there? Why is there Amoonguss? You have a poison and you have a grass. It doesn't add much to your team. So I don't like the Amoonguss pick. I also don't think the Zygarde 10% pick was that great either. So overall, I think those two would bring Legend down a significant amount. But because the first two are so good, Legend's going to get 6, I guess? We're being a little bit mean. All of these drafts are 6 out of 10 to 10 out of 10 normally. But I'm going to be meaner to them. Leifs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The Mega Sableye round 2 is just crazy. I'm sorry, this draft does not make sense. This draft does not make much sense. Sorry, jeez. Leif's draft has to be tree. Jeez, stop doing that. Move. Thank you. Okay. What picks from Leif's draft do I like? I like Nidoking. I don't think Terra Arcanine makes any sense when he has a Moltres. And I also don't think a round 4 Moltres makes sense. Starmie is cool, I guess. Yeah, I don't understand the draft. Next one, Venuswine. Venuswine has a very bulky draft. You could even call it stall. So, a stall draft, almost. Or an actual stall draft. I think this is actually considered a stall draft, which is kind of crazy. So, I do actually inherently like the picks. Giratina, not very familiar with it in Uber's draft, but sure. Shaman Sky, that Pokemon is not as great in draft because you can run a Covert Cloak, but you still have to run a Covert Cloak on a Pokemon that can actually take its hits and is willing to give up its item slot. Like on Legend side, Glowking, for example. Like, if we look at my draft, for instance, I don't exactly have a Pokemon that can afford to run a Covert Cloak very easily and take on Skyman. The best would be Rotom Heat, and that thing doesn't want to take Stealth Rock. So obviously it's kind of matchup fishy, I guess. Tinglu, just a good Pokemon. I think Tinglu's a great pick. Not a fan of the Pokemon, but it's good. Terra Heatran. I know a lot of people really hate Heatran and think it's garbage. I'm not that mean to Heatran. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's as bad as you guys make it out to be, that's for sure. And as a Terra captain, Heatran is definitely pretty good. So I like the Heatran pick. Hatterene? Terra Hatterene I haven't really seen much in draft yet, so I'm excited to watch this one. Ditto? Ditto was a great pick. Ditto was phenomenal. Ditto in Uber's draft is so good, and since theirs is a stall draft, even better. Ditto was a phenomenal pickup from them. Slowbro? Okay, I'm not a fan of Slowbro personally, and I think it's a little expensive for them, but it doesn't make the draft worse, I guess. So, sure. They have a great Ghost Resist already, Tinglu. Tauros Blaze. Tauros Blaze is okay. Makes a little bit of sense here. Speed tier. I know it's an overlapping fire type, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. I guess their ground resist aren't great, but it should be fine. Those Beedrill and Vikavolt kind of look the same here. Speaking of Beedrill, I think that was a good pickup. I'm not a fan of Mega Beedrill overall in draft, but I think Mega Beedrill here is fine. Because it just adds all the offense. Which I think they could use a little bit more of. Vikavolt Terra? Terra Vikavolt is an interesting Pokemon. Never really been too much of a fan of it though. But I understand what it does, and I think Terra Vikavolt is okay here. A little bit of sticky web for Terra Heatran. I mean the Vikavolt's not Terraing, but that's fine. And the Dunsparce. I think the Dunsparce is a good Pokemon. I think this is okay. I think Venuswine has a good draft. Is 7 too low? We'll put them at 7 for now because I'm not too much of a fan of Slowbro, and Tauros makes some sense, but I don't know. So next up is Aqua. A lot of people hate Aqua's draft, but that's because it's Aqua. He still has one more pick, but we're going to rank the draft as it is because I'm tired of waiting. So, he has a specially defensive and physically defensive Regen Core, a Tyranitar with a Sandvale Garchomp. I assume Sandvale is banned. It better be. Terra Garchomp, a broken Pokemon, Terra Avalugg, and underrated Terra Captain, Mega Metagross. Hisuian Samurott, which is a great Pokemon. Zapdos, which makes a lot of sense on his draft. Spectrier, which is an exciting one to see from him. And definitely adds a speed tier. I will say his draft is a slightly slow, slightly, but I think that only bumps it down to 9. I'm sorry, Aqua haters. This draft I think is significantly better than the rest of ours. So next up is Max. Max had requested a lot of help in terms of his draft. I would say it turned out completely fine. He stole my Vanillix from me. I was very willing to add Vanillix to this draft, but unfortunately no Vanillix for me. Overall, Greninja, Cyclizar, Sandaconda. I'm not a fan of Cyclizar overall, but he asked for Hazard Movers. I gave a list of them. He chose Cyclizar. That's fine. Is there any particular issues I have with the draft? I'm looking for one right now. He doesn't have the best fairy. He doesn't match up too well with the fairy, I guess. But, like, Terrazarud is just Terrazarud. It's a great Pokemon. I'm not sure if there's any particular issues with Max's draft. I know Agency has this motto where he says, get a ground type that you will always bring. And Sandaconda is not that. But I don't know. I feel like lower tier grounds are completely fine. I think Max's goes into 8 out of 10. Might be a little bit generous here. We'll see. Please move. Please move. Please move. Thank you. J Money's draft. They have 3 Terra points that I assume they're not going to use. I'm going to be honest, J Money's draft confuses me. So, Magearna, very good round 1. Zamazenta, great. I think Zamazenta is good. Gouging Fire next. Terrifying. Terra Gouging Fire is absurd. Landorus Therian, very good pickup. Alomomola. It makes sense, but I'm just not an Alomomola fan. But then it gets weirder. Raging Bolt. Without Terra. So I see Raging Bolt and I'm like, oh, they're building a Sun draft, obviously. And then Ninetales Alola? Now, I get it. Aurora Veil is amazing here. I think Aurora Veil in draft is very good. Very good. Well, I don't think it's very good because you can run Brick Break, but I think for their draft with so much setup, yes. Mousehold, cool. Chansey, I'm not a fan of Chansey. I think Chansey is way too overpriced in this league. And Butterfree. Alright, I think you see the confusion. I don't think it's a bad draft, I just think it's confusing. I'd say it's 6 out of 10 with Legends draft. No, it should be lower. We'll put it at 5. I'm trying not to make... we'll put it at 5. Next up is Humans draft. Humans was entirely made by Void of Darkness. And even then, I don't exactly love the draft. So we have Pheromosa, good round 1. Necros Baton Wings. I'm just not a big fan of it in general, but I like the Pokemon. Mega Blastoise. I think Mega Blastoise sucks. I don't think it's that good. I don't care if it has Shell Smash. You can run a Mirror Herb, and you will run a Mirror Herb. Melmetal Terra? I almost wanted to use it. I thought Melmetal Terra would be really fun to use. And I think it's a great pickup from Human. Or, excuse me, Void. Nidoqueen, smart one. Galarian Moltres. Makes sense. Cinderace, good one. I think I might have suggested the Cinderace. Whimsicott and Ubers is going to be interesting because of any mon with like significant utility, like Prankster Whimsicott, that'll be interesting. Type Null, Electabuzz. Void was saying that Electabuzz was kind of underpriced. I don't know if I exactly stand by that, but whatever. I think this draft is very complete. It's like mostly good. Just don't like the Blastoise. I would say it's probably worse than Venuslines, but still in 7, I think. Next up is Aaron. I made Aaron's draft. Kyurem Black onwards, I was working on this draft, and let me tell you, I tried my best to think as much as I could like I would for myself, but it was kind of tough. It was kind of tough to make a draft for someone else. Overall, I actually like how it turns out, though. At least it looks fun. Like, I would love to use this draft. Kyurem Black, very scary. Deoxys Speed with Terra, I think that's a wild mon. Meowscarada, I just think that's a great pickup. Golden Go makes a lot of sense as a moment. We need to steal at a ghost. Mega Aerodactyl, Aaron has an extremely fast draft, by the way. This is incredible. Tentacruel, phenomenal pickup from here. Terra Rhyperior. People were giving me flack for Terra Rhyperior, and I don't understand that. Terra Rhyperior is a known Terra captain. What? Thundurus Incarnate. I mean, this is kind of where the bias comes in. I'm just a big Thundurus fan. I'm sorry. Both Thundurus forms. It's not just Thundurus Therian. I love Thundurus Incarnate. Umbreon. I didn't want to give them Umbreon because I don't think it's very good. I wanted to give them Florges, but whatever. And Masquerain. Now, this is, I think Aaron's draft might actually be the more biased one. I'm giving Aaron an 8 out of 10. If this is a bias, let me know. If is there anything Aaron's particularly missing? I guess it would be a sturdy ground resist, but like I think Mega Aerodactyl will do just fine. Alright, next up is Epicly. Epicly's draft is a little weird. You can tell they definitely play more singles OU. Because you see you can see Ferrothorn Rotom Wash. Palkia, Volcarona Terra is disgusting. Megalopony, very good Pokemon. Got 6-0'd by it recently. Ferrowash. Is there a name for that core? There's all kinds of Ferrothorn cores. Ferrocent, Jellicent, Ferrotran, Ferrothorn Heatran, Ferrocruel, Tentacruel. These are all Gen 5 OU. Where's the Ferrothorn Rotom Wash combo? I know that exists. Alolan Muck. I'm not a fan of it in general, but I think it's really good here. And it can pursue it, so it makes sense over Quill and such. Mamoswine. I'm not a fan of Mamoswine overall in draft, but I think here, Mamoswine is okay. I would have preferred a sturdier ground though. Azelf. A lot of people don't like Azelf in draft. I think it's completely fine. Terra Sylveon. Don't know how to think about it. Can he afford to Terra Dusknoir? Oh, no, he cannot. Okay. And then Dusknoir, which I think is a good value pick for him. And overall, I think his draft is solid. There's lots of really scary Pokemon. I would say it's better than Venuswine, so we're going to put it here. By the way, I'm not the messiah of draft. My opinion could be completely stupid. So next up is Benja. So Benja, I remember me and Benja worked a little bit together. For example, I was helping him decide whether to take Diancie, Iron Tread, Zeraora, etc. And I told him, okay, get Diancie round 3, get Iron Tread round 4, which you can see it got sniped, so it was Terapagos. Get Zeraora round 5 and move on from there. He took the Hydreigon that I kind of wanted. I almost took Hydreigon, but I took Darkrai instead, because Darkrai just sounded much more fun. And I drafted Hydreigon already in the UDL. Overall, and also you can see he knows what he's doing because he took Quillfish. Only noobs say Quillfish sucks. M&J TV fans, Quillfish is amazing. What do I think of Benja's draft? I think this is one of the best drafts we have. I will say I don't love the Ubers. I'm not a big Kyurem White or Solgaleo fan, but I know they're good. So I think Benja's draft is gonna have to go up with Aqua's. But not as good as Aqua's, because Aqua's one is more insane. Might be a 10 out of 10. Alright, there's my draft. We're going to skip that one because we already did it. Random Dude's draft. Oh, the cringe. The cringe is settling in. Electric Terrain. And a Mega Kangaskhan. Are you serious? It's a great draft. It's a really, really good one. Uxie round 4, you can tell he knows what he's doing. Only pros know that Uxie is a goat. And Uxie is one of those mons that only pros really use. I mean, I've been using Uxie. So yeah, this draft... I mean, I don't like his last 2 picks, I can say that much. Which I think is going to stop it from getting the top. I'm looking to see if he has any particular weaknesses that I can like make fun of. I feel like his Naggadale is going to run spikes a lot of the time. I was looking to see if he has spikes. I think spikes are actually pretty valuable. We're going to put Random Dude's draft up here. This might be pretty low, by the way. I really don't want to put it this low. But I'm also mean to Electric Terrain. So fuck you. Next up is Hydra's draft. Hydra's draft, I think, is just the #1 draft in the league. or a top contender for number 1. Now, people were saying, how did you get all that stuff? This draft, inherently the Pokemon aren't amazing. I don't think Rillaboom, Grimmsnarl, etc. are that great alone, but together, the synergy is amazing. This is like the Lagoon. This is not Laguna Lakers. This is like the Lost City Lakers synergy. They're working together to be goated. Okay. Yeah, this draft makes sense. They also sniped my Vulpix, so fuck you. And also potentially Porygon too, but I don't know if I was taking that. Next up is Requiem. I think Requiem did an amazing job for his draft. I think this is his first draft, or close to it. He has draft experience in Lumion Legacy, so that's something. Ogerpon, Heartflame, and Qianpao. Those two were sniped for me immediately. I wanted both of those. Megaladios, I think is a great addition. Megaladios is just a very good Pokemon. Primarina, very early, but thankfully he was able to generally get what he needed. Scizor, I think Scizor is very, very good. If the Mega Scizor is taken as a value steal, you should get it as quickly as you can. Thunder Asterion, Bias, my favorite draft Pokemon. Overquill, I think is a great Pokemon. Terra Arboliva, you can tell this guy watches PokeMMD. But I also think it's completely fine here. I think Grassy Terrain definitely helps support his Pokemon, particularly Overquill. Donphan, he was choosing between Donphan and Excadrill. I think you always take Donphan. Donphan is just so much better. And his last Pokemon, Hisuian Arcanine, I don't think it's great here. But sure. And I think Requiem's draft has to go in the higher echelons around here. Next up is Electric. I don't like Electric draft as much as the others. It's very not my style. Pretty slow. Yeah, no, it's a very bulky draft. His damage output is very reliant on like Mega Mawile. The other Pokemon are kind of setup Pokemon like Iron Moth, Ogerpon, Ursaluna. Dragapult can do anything, of course, but not as great in Ubers. But it's still Dragapult. So hey, I like the Toxicroak pick. That's the only thing I can say. I don't think this one's as good as the others. Electric is gonna go. J-Money has much scarier Terra Captain, so we're gonna put it here. I might actually move J-Money up. Reverse Tracebacks. I'm sorry, Reverse. I tried to help as much as I could, and I do like your first 4 picks, but Clefable doesn't make any sense here. The other picks are, I think, okay, but Clefable just doesn't make much sense. And it's also not the fastest draft I've seen. I like the Cutiefly pick, but again, I was the one who told him to get Zarina Cutiefly. And also, he still has so many Terra points. He does not make use of his Terra much for some reason. I don't know why. Why don't you Terra Landorus and get rid of other Pokemon? I think Reverse is gonna have to go down here, which makes me feel really sad. But whatever. I also think we're gonna bump Aqua up to 10. We're gonna make changes. We're gonna move Aqua to 10 out of 10. We're gonna move J Money up to 6. And I'm also gonna post this. Alright, so this one, Void of Darkness. Void of Darkness. So Mega Metagross is obviously phenomenal. Karakurum is obviously disgusting. Zamazenta, I think, is a great Pokemon for him to add. Then some other Pokemon are a little bit more interesting. Terra Arcanine came very early for him. Shaman Sky, I think that makes complete sense for him. The speed tier. And then the other Pokemon are a little eh. Like, for example, I don't like Manaphy personally, but I guess it makes sense here. I guess he can do stuff with it. And I also see as a bunch of random nonsense. I know he wanted to try Rotom, so Rotom's there. And I know he'll... Alright, whatever. Donphan, I think Donphan's the only other Pokemon here that I really like. Skuntank is there. And Skuntank, for 4 points, I think is great. But, like, was Overquill or Drapion or Hisuian Quillfish not there? I guess not. So Void's draft is not as good as you would expect from a player like Void, in my opinion. Because the first three are really good though, I think this might keep it in 8, but we're gonna put it at 7 just to be a little mean, you know. Gotta be as harsh as I can. Univixi's draft. Very interesting. Hold on, I haven't seen this yet. I haven't paid much attention to Pool 2. Mega Lucario, broken Pokemon. Deoxys, great addition, I think, for the offense. Then they get their rain very, very early. Particularly, they got Pelipper very early. Round 4. In the Blitz Battlers League, I got my Pelipper very late. So they got Archaludon Pelipper very early. Okay, that's great. Terra Archaludon is pretty spooky. Tapu Lele. Lots of people were making fun of the Tapu Lele pick. And I'm going to be one of them. Because there's a Mega Lucario that heavily relies on priority. So they're going to have to play very smart. I understand what they're trying to do here. Deoxys Psy Spam. That's what they're aiming for. And I understand that, and it's pretty spooky. I don't know if it works with Mega Lucario here. Gengar's very, very mid. It's a very mid Pokemon to draft. I almost took it once, but still. Barraskewda, great pickup. Regieleki is going to be interesting. A lot of people hate Regieleki. I'm interested to see what it does. I know what it can do. Terra Bisharp. I've seen Terra Bisharp in action before, but I don't think Bisharp makes sense for them on this draft. They already have steals. Typhlosion in rain. Don't think it makes much sense. 5 points I think is also a little bit much. Ludicolo, I think Ludicolo is a fun one. I like the addition of that. And Terra Glaceon, which was really whatever. I think Univixi's draft is gonna go into 6 out of 10. But I see a potential vision. It just doesn't look very easy to execute. Okay, Raz's draft is unfinished. If you can't, oh wait, we're not doing Raz yet. But yeah, Raz's draft is unfinished. Went over the point limit again. So teenager first. Zacian, Raging Bolt, which they didn't want, but Meow Bolt is a very good combo. Landorus Incarnate, Scizor, again I endorse Scizor. Slowbro, which I just don't like it overall. Blacephalon, really fun one. Terra Okidogi, which is goated. Titanol, Cloth, and Charjabug. I think this draft is one of the better ones. I think this draft is going to go into 9 out of 10. Because I really love the first 5 picks for them. And the Blacephalon Okidogi picks. I think those are so much fun and very good. I guess Landorus Incarnate... No, Landorus Incarnate is good. Landorus I is fine. Alright, next up is going to be Raz. Raz's draft is unfinished, but at the moment, Raz's draft, they have the Sneasler Rillaboom, which should definitely give them some points. Magearna Dragapult, I think, is also very good. Urshifu Rapid Strike, I don't think is great here. Glimmora, I think, is great. Sandy Shocks, I think, is great. Okay, this draft isn't actually that bad. They have, I'm not a fan of their later picks. I think Raz's draft, however, has to go on higher. It seems like they overhauled it a lot. I remember this draft being much worse yesterday. We're gonna put it in 8. So next up is Wobbly. I do not understand this draft at all. So I remember telling them to get Melmetal Venusaur. I was the one who said that. But then they have a Tapu Fini with a Kyurem Black. Dragon moves are halved under Misty Terrain. Do you see the issue? Shuckle was also very early, I think. Mew doesn't make any sense here. Oh, wait. I swear I had a Psychic type yesterday. Okay, Mew makes a little bit more sense now then. Chansey I don't think makes any sense. Galarian Corsola, I mean, cool, but it's... Their draft just became unbelievably slow. I do not think this is a great draft. I like the first 5. I like the first 5, and I think Mew's okay. I'm very against Mew though. Has to go here. It could be a 4, I guess. Is it worse than? I think it's on par with Leif's draft, but like their first 5 are good. All right, so next up is Sev. Sev, I think, did a good job at overhauling the draft. This was definitely different yesterday. It was This was Splashy's team, but Splashy got banned or something. I don't know what happened. I don't like Ogerpon without Terra though. I will say that Ogerpon should have a Cornerstone mask on it. I definitely think so. So, I mean, besides that, I think he did a great job overhauling the draft, making it much better. Dialga, Terra Ursaluna is great. Greninja is a good Pokemon there. Uxie, I've already explained why Uxie is great. Mega Gardevoir, very fun one. I think it's only 14 points. Oh, cool. Skeletor without Terra is very mid. Again, another Pokemon that he would want a Terra cap, and without Terra, it's very mid. Mandibuzz, I think, is a decent addition. Yeah, it's a good addition. Pheasantipity is more so a Pokemon that I'm curious about. Jolteon, another Pokemon that really wants Terra but doesn't have it. And the Terra Avalugg, I think, is a great value pick. I think he did a good job at making the draft better, but honestly, it's not as good as I thought, so it's gonna go in here. Still not a bad draft at all, though. Alright, next up is gonna be Dabbuster. So they have the very late Terra. What the hell? Wait, why is their draft actually good? So Kieran White, Dominant Crown, Mega Diancie, Palafin, Terra Heatran, which, don't think is great here. Terra Zarude, that one that I think is great here. Nidoking, which is a great value pick for round 7, Gs. Hisuian, Zoroark, Calyrex, and Bidoof I don't think are good at all. It's a fucking Bidoof. But, like, they can just bring the first 7 every week. Why is their draft actually good? Man! Well, that sucks. I'm forced to put it there. Damn it! Actually, the other pick kind of mean I had to put it lower. We're gonna put it here. Raz even might be better, I think. But, I don't know. Agency's draft. I don't... He had a Talonflame. Okay, this draft isn't as good as I remember yesterday. Palkia, obviously very good. Tapu Koko. I'm not sure what I think about Koko here. Not a fan of it. Landorus Starion, I'm very much a fan of here. Genesect round 4. Mega Galate round 5. Alolan Muck, I'm just not a big fan of Alolan Muck, but it's good. It's your Ground of Poison, your Dark type, which I think are necessary. Terrasinistra, I think was a great pick. Talonflame. Don't really understand the Talonflame there. Carbunculus. Sure. Greedent. I mean, Greedent, I understand what it does. I do know what Greedent can do. I don't mind it there. Overall, I think this is merely just a good draft. Why do I genuinely think Dabusters might be better? No, it's not better. It's not better. Agency has more synergy. There's also Terra Landorus Starion, which is always curious. Alright, next up is EXE. So EXE is one of the people who are familiar with draft. I think EXE might actually be the most familiar here, besides like Agency, Void. Yeah, stop doing that! So the Terra Zygarde round 1, that was a very interesting one. I'm very curious to see how that goes. But then Tornado Starion without Terra, which is, I mean Tornado Starion is still good, but I don't know. You know what is good though? The Mega Scizor, Hisuian, Samurott, Terrapagos, Iron Hands, Comfey, Azelf, Nihilego picks. I think those are great. Nihilego especially, Void told me very early on that, wait. Oh no, EXE, oh no, what do we tell him? Okay, let's assume he just drops Volcanion. It's still fine. I think his draft is still good. What was Raz's draft again? I think this would be better than Raz's. No, worse than Raz's, sorry. Okay, EXE actually responded pretty much immediately. He did actually say drop Volcanion. So his draft is fine. His draft is fine. I don't mind dropping Volcanion. Volcanion is not adding much. Obama Prism's draft. It's you might see some similarities. This might look a little familiar. But I will say his draft is definitely better than mine in some ways. It's worse than others. It's a lot slower. Huh. Yeah, no, it's way slower. Jeez. So Mega Guard Terra Garchomp, phenomenal. Urshifu Single Strike is very interesting. Celesteela, good Pokemon. I don't mind. I think it's good here. Mega Slowbro. Not a Mega Slowbro guy at all. I think regular Slowbro would have been better. Amoonguss, fine. It's not bad yet until we get to... Rotom Heat Terra is very interesting. I definitely think that's okay. Overquill I think is a great Pokemon. Lycanroc Dusk I think is fine. Ninetales, it makes sense. So he went the Sun route. I could have picked up Ninetales, but I chose not to. I think his draft is definitely like a definition of a 7 out of 10 draft. Like, it's fine. And I'm gonna put it below... What was Seb's draft? Can I see it from here? I can. Yeah, I think this is better than Seb's. Okay, so... oopsies. Is there an undo button? The undo button isn't working. No one will ever know. No one will know. But next up is Ouija, Pempy, etc. Curious draft. So Pheromosa, Necrozma, Dawnwings, Dialga, Origin. 3 Ubers immediately, but it's... 2 of the Ubers are very whatever. Gliscor makes sense in Ubers. Gliscor is a much better Pokemon in Ubers, I think. Terra Iron Bundle, great Pokemon, obviously. Mega Kangaskhan, a disgusting Pokemon. But then the last 4 are so weird. Terra Magnezone, Terra Arbok, Illumise, which, not that bad, I guess. And Emolga? I think this is going to be a... I guess this could be better than Seb's. I'm not sure. I might be crazy here. This feels I feel crazy. Okay, so there's actually some changes. So Epiclee's adding a Morgrim. They stole my Volcarona's Terra. Did I un-Terra it by mistake? Oops. Re-added. And then Incineroar now, Terra to Zygarde, and dropped Amoonguss. Okay, now, okay, wait. Exceeded point limit by 2. I don't have Jugulus anymore. Okay, drops Jugulus. 9 points left. I mean, I think this makes the draft a little better. I think those are Pokemon you would definitely drop. It makes sense. So, like, do we bump Legend up? I think he can stay in that position. I think it's okay. I don't know what Legend wants to do now. Next up is AR, Galarian, Moltres, person. They go by many names. I definitely think their draft is one of the more fun ones. I'd love to use this one day. Mega Mawil's a fun one. Giratina, don't really understand it. But then Thunder Asterion, all the bias is coming in. Terra Iron Boulder, I'm an Iron Boulder hater, but it makes sense. It's cool. Tentacruel, I think, is amazing. Gouging Fire is going to be fun. Do I think it's a good draft? Yes. Do I think it's a fun draft? Yes. I will say it's probably going to be on the lowest end of 7. I think. Next up is Lilius. What Pokemon was this supposed to be? Ogerpon Wellspring. Okay. Is matchup out? Okay, I was. If you're wondering who was DMing me, it was someone who was gonna give me some Pokemon for an upcoming VGC event on January 11. So next up, Genway. Genway's draft I think is one of the more fair ones. So they have Chien-Pao, Megalodios, Enamorus, Iron Treads, Rotom-Wall, Cinderace, Pterodactyl Speed, which is cool. Dunsparce, which I think it makes a lot of sense. I think that's an underrated Pokemon. Thwackey, which I don't really understand, I'm sorry. Especially because they have an Iron Treads. I don't really understand the Thwackey pick. Beedrill, I think there's better options than Beedrill, but hey. So, I think their draft is one of the definitely more fair drafts. Nothing crazy, just fine. Is it better than Void's draft? No, I think Void's draft is better. Oh, it's probably up here. Alright, next up is going to be Fierce's draft, which I think is a contender for the best draft. I will say I'm a hater for the Ubers they picked, but it's just such... The speed tiers are so nice. The moves they have are so nice, like the utility. I don't like their last few picks much, which normally would bump me down. Yeah, no, I gotta be fair. And finally, Nyroglyph's draft, which is pretty curious. I don't understand I don't understand some Pokemon. Specifically the fucking Blissey. What? Why is that there? They have Blissey, Clefable, and Wigglytuff. Okay, this draft doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's gonna go into here, below Lilius for sure. That's for sure. And if I were to merge them, I would say... Okay, let's merge them. So Hydra, Aqua at the top. Benja, Fierce, and Teenager. Fierce... What was Teenager's draft again? There it is. I think Benja's is definitely better. Agency, Dab, Raz, and EXE. I think Agency, Dab. Dab's draft is so good. I think Requiem's is better, but not by much. Dab. Raz is gonna go on the lower end. What's Max's draft again? Void, Genway, Obama, Ouija, Sev, AR. I think Void's is definitely better than Epically. Void. Genway. Obama's draft. Is Obama's better than Venuswine? I'd say no. No. Obama's a lot scarier. Sev. I'd say Venuswine's... No, Sev's is better than Venuswine. Humans draft, I think AR's is gonna be above both of them. Univixi's draft between Legend and J Money. Lilius, Nyroglyph, Electric. I think Lilius is better than Electric. And then Nyroglyph's down here. Me, Reverse, and then Leaf and Wobbly. And I think that's my power rankings. That is my list. Is this a controversial list? Maybe. Alright, let's post this. Full ranking. Okay, so I just wasted many minutes just slowly going through this 90 results to get the matchups in a notepad, and then I found this site. So I guess, sure. Yay. Are you serious? It's always week 8 that has the most epic battle. Me versus Hydra. That's crazy. Okay, I believe that's everything for pool 1. Nothing too crazy. I guess I'll go over my matchups in case anyone cares. Me against Leif week 1, Aqua week 2, Electric week 3, Random Dude week 4, Requiem week 5, Aaron week 6, Jaimini week 7, and Hydra week 8. Kinda sad that I didn't get to play Benja or Venus Swine. Those are 2 players that I wanted to play against, but unfortunate. Alright, regenerate. Continue. What do we get? Alright, time to input all this bullshit. I feel so bad for Genhui and Void. I'm giving them annoying matchups immediately. Oh, one of them is each other. I swear, Genhui only catches a break week 3. Week 3 is against Obama. Okay, Obama's still not that bad. And then week 4 is Fierce. And then we get back to Splashy, who I know Splashy is definitely good. I'm sorry, Genhui, I'm not doing this on purpose. Another person who has some pretty difficult matchups is AR. AR is against Fierce, AR is against Void, AR is against Wobbly, handleable. Agency, AR has 3 of the biggest bosses. And that the matchups for week 2 done as well. Alright. Here's everything to just show the evidence. I realized I should have done that for the first one, just in case you want to pause and think I'm a cheater. No, I'm not. And I guess I'll just send these off to Void.